You got to find what's going to get you in a mindset of peace. There's no one size that fits all.
Mm-hmm. It looks different for each person.
There's no shortcut to greatness. There's a lot of perceptions out there that there is. When someone asks you what time it is, don't tell them how to build a watch. Pretty basic. And that stayed with me.
In sport, you take a shot, it didn't go in. The present moment is backpedaling, getting back on defense and stopping the ball.
I'm Dr. Amy Athey. As a licensed psychologist and performance expert, working with elite athletes, C-suite executives, and high performers operating in some of the most demanding environments, I've seen what it truly takes to perform when it matters most. From supporting members of the Naval Special Warfare community to advising leaders in high-stakes, high-pressure situations, one truth remains consistent. The tools that drive performance are the same. You prepare in a way that allows you to show up ready when the moment arrives. Each week, I'll share practical tools and insights to help you strengthen how you think, lead, and perform. Welcome to Still Evolving.
I'm Dr. Amy Athey. In my book, Moment Ready, I talk about 4 things that help us show up when the moment actually matters. Being composed, having clarity, the ability to connect, and then taking courageous action. 4 C's. They're simple to name and a lot harder to live. Today's conversation lives in the second one, clarity. And here's why that one rises to the top for me. The higher you climb in leadership, the louder the world gets. More information, more opinions, more tools, more apps and feeds, all competing for your attention. And it's not just the noise coming at us. It's the noise we generate also inside our own heads, considering what our team needs, what we're saying to ourselves, about the future, about the outcome. Clarity is what cuts through all of this. It's giving direction clean enough to your team so that they can fully execute on your intent. It's drilling down to what truly matters in this world where everything is fast-paced and moving and perhaps at times just feels gray. Clarity, though, isn't just about communication. It's also about honesty, the willingness to take the truth head on, not to find blame, but to find what's actually in the way and move it. Because the longer we wait, the longer we kick the can down the road, the harder it is to go back and fix. The clearest leaders I know are the ones who are most accountable, and these 2 things travel together. My guest understands this in his bones. Chris Kowalewski is the Chief Growth Officer at the Compass Group North America, and he's spent decades building a sales organization that, in his own words, is neurotic about preparation. No shortcuts, no hacks. He's here to tell you that there's no such thing as a shortcut to greatness, just reps, ownership, and clarity. Done the right way every single day. That's how you become what I call moment ready. And it works. He's taken turnover from the low 20s down to under 6%, not with gimmicks, but by making his people's job easier and treating them well. He's also someone who stays grounded on purpose. He'll tell you he talks to his parents every single day, that he grew up in rural Pennsylvania in humble surroundings, and he does yoga. And that a walk through the Mayo Clinic will humble you faster than just about anything and remind you how lucky you really are. This one stayed with me, and I think it'll stay with you too. Please welcome Chris to Still Evolving.
Chris, welcome to Still Evolving. Grateful to have you here today and really looking forward to the conversation.
Oh, good morning, Dr. Amy. My pleasure. Thanks for having me.
We talked a bit before we jumped online here about the 4 C's that I've shared with the audience coming out in my book, Moment Ready. And when we think about how we can best show up in our moments that matter, I relate that it's important to be composed, to have clarity, to be able to connect, and then to take that courageous action. For you, one of those in particular really resonated, and that's the role of clarity. So can you share back in your own words, why does having concise clarity matter more and more as you become kind of higher you go in leadership?
Sure. To me, I find over the years, there has become more and more distractions. Mm-hmm. With just with all the electronics that we have at our disposal, and applications and social media, there's so many potential distractions, so many opinions and views out there. And I do think it's important when you're leading an organization, when you're leading people, you have to be able to give really clear and concise direction. And also that also comes to when the teams need help. You've got to be super clear and super concise and have the ability to drill down so that you have goals that you're trying to achieve. You have a vision that you're trying to act upon and bring it to life. And the only way to do that, and to be fair to everyone, is to give super concise direction. And I lead a sales organization, and sellers by nature don't do well in the gray area, in the gray matter. They're very, very concise. And I just find the more clear direction, the more clear messaging, the better.
And yeah, so many times I remember I even in my own communication as a leader, make assumptions, right? That I am being clear. And it takes, when something isn't executed as I thought we were going, like in the direction we were going, it's very quick to kind of look at the receiver of that communication. But oftentimes it's the sender, to your point about the need for leaders to be concise and clear. Can you talk a little bit about, in your journey, how, I guess, being intellectually honest with yourself, and when you're breaking down, like if something wasn't executed in the way that you thought you articulated, or you set that direction, perhaps how do leaders kind of sometimes fool ourselves in thinking that it may be more about them than taking that hard, honest look at ourselves?
Well, I believe you have to start with taking the truth head on. I think it starts there. And as you're looking, when challenges arise, or when you're trying to get to a goal, and maybe there's a struggle to get there, and you need to have the ability to take a step back and ask yourself, what's really going on here, and what is truly important, and that tends to lead you to what the best path forward is. And again, it's not to find blame or to point blame. It's just what are the symptoms that are getting in the way? What are the roadblocks getting in the way? And then how do we get those out of the way? Like what do we need to do to get to an acceptable outcome? And I do believe there people struggle with taking the truth head on. For some, it's not comfortable. For some, the bigger issues, it can be behavioral, and that's not good. But you have to. I had some great mentors in my career. On the whole conciseness piece, Dr. Amy, it was one thing that was drilled into me is, when someone asks you what time it is, don't tell them how to build a watch. Pretty basic. And that stayed with me. And another great lesson was, you tell the truth. You never have to worry about what story you told last. So to me, it was always about taking it head on and just give me the facts, be concise, stay out of the ambiguity. Ambiguity just try, because there's little need for it. Very little need for it. And I'm not one, I don't like to play games. I just want to get to the answer. And most times, I don't care what the answer is. I just want, what is the answer so that we can fix it and make it better for everybody. And I take that as my responsibility. I'm big into ownership. If you struggle with ownership and accountability, you're going to struggle with taking the truth head on. There is a bit of this circle, right, of accountability, or what I will call, you have to want to do it the right way all the time.
Being grounded and in those values, as you were talking about, with honesty or integrity, certainly does, I guess it underpins that whole process. Really being able to take it head on. It also takes, I talk a lot about everything is data, right? And when we look at high performance, the high performing mindset is a very non-judgmental mindset. In sport, my sport was basketball, right? So in sport, you take a shot. Really, when you see athletes in the flow of the game, take a shot, it went in, it didn't go in. The present moment is backpedaling, getting back on defense and stopping the ball. And that's where you are living. You're not reliving the shot that was a quote unquote good shot or bad shot, or if you were fouled or not. You're back in the present moment. So what I teach people is, if you want to take things head on and you really want to look that hard in the mirror, and art that we were talking about, perhaps when that vision isn't executed and we're kind of breaking that down, it's like, what was the disconnect? And if we're looking that hard in the mirror, it's all data, right? So how did you share that vision? What did you share in that vision? Were you as clear and concise as you could have been to help your team execute on that? But certainly if you start personalizing and that ego gets in the way, it's really hard to take accountability. It's really hard.
It's definitely hard, and there's no need to be defensive. And I think the bottom line is if you, this is about people. And if you care about your team, if you care about the people that you work with, you owe them to always strive to do it the right way and to take the truth head on. And in some cases, it may be uncomfortable, but it's not personal.
Right.
We're just trying to make it better. And I've always found that when you do that initially, things become a lot easier. In every case, in every sense, it becomes easier. When you don't, when you delay, when you stall, is when it gets more and more difficult. And it also becomes harder you have the diagnosis, but it's really, really hard to remedy.
Right. Dig yourself out of a bigger hole.
Yeah. Kicking the can down the road rarely does much good.
Really works. You mentioned the impact of noise, like the information society that we lived in, but also we have that internal noise, all that we're saying to ourselves, about the people we're with, about this project, et cetera. Besides noise, the other piece that I sometimes get on my soapbox and push back a good bit is the hack culture. There's a hack for everything. And it kind of cracks me up, because there's not an elite athlete, tactical operator or executive I've ever worked with who really sustained high performance on hacks. It might, get you through this really tough time, but when we talk about sustainment and being able to show up and grow and innovate, I haven't seen it. So I'm just curious, in your role as a leader, with the number of high stakes presentations, negotiations, and ways that you've had to show up, can you talk a little bit about your take on this hack culture, and also how, I know we've talked about like the role of time and reps. How do you instill that in a world that is, hack culture is very flashy right now?
There's no shortcut to greatness. There's a lot of perceptions out there that there is, right? You got to love, I always love some of the LinkedIn monologues of people that have the answers, and there's no shortcut to greatness. To me, there's no such thing as passive income, right? You have to be in the weeds, and you have to work really, really hard, and there's no substitute for that. And that goes back to to really understand how to be successful. Now I'm fortunate at this point in my career where I'm surrounded by a group of individuals, a team. They make success look easy. It's not, but they make winning look easy. But it's because they have bought in to the practice of being neurotic about the details and preparing every single day. You brought up the basketball, kind of the basketball. I got somebody behind me. Sorry about that.
Oh, it's all good.
you've got some. We talked about the basketball, and sports are a great analogy for preparation, and doing it the right way. But if you look at just now with the NBA Finals, they played 82 regular season games. They're well over 100 at this point in the season. That started back, preseason started in September. But it's a grind, but it's a constant, right? We're gonna run the defense, and we're gonna run the playbook in the offense until we have it right. My son played college football. He actually played for Kurt Signetti, who's the head coach at Indiana now.
Yeah.
And Matt played for Kurt for 2 years, and just best coach he's ever had. He swears by it. But Matt said the biggest difference with him and all his other coaches is that you ran the plays on offense and defense until they were perfected. You didn't go to practice to just run, or you didn't go to practice to stand around for a few hours. If practice was 45 minutes, it was very well choreographed to the minute. You look at the theater, look at opera, look at symphonies, and how much time and how much work, because the benchmark is perfection.
I talk a lot about in high stakes moments, in those moments that matter, we fall back to that level of preparation. We don't really rise to the occasion, right? Under stress,
Correct.
We know we fall back to that which is most familiar. So your son or the performing artist or the executive, whatever those reps is their foundation, that's what they'll fall back to under that stressful high stakes moment.
What makes you moment ready? We talked about this in one of our calls, and I call it audible ready, but I love your term. I like your term better. You become moment ready when that is the standard, when that is natural, and you can tell when someone isn't prepared. Like in our organization today, if you are not prepared, you stand out. If you are not concise and clear, you stand out. And that's good.
Right.
That to me, that's a good thing, and culturally it's good. And that's what you drive for. That's what we've been striving for the last 10, 15 years. And
Chris, I'm wondering what that looks like, though, as a leader. Like, what do you think you've done to help shape that behavior, that climate, such that people are obviously doing some reps? They are obviously buying into that tool of that fundamental of being concise and having clarity in their communication and how they show up and work through problems. But what do you think as a leader you have done that has helped? And also the flip side, maybe a lesson learned, that something you look back, you're like, well, that didn't really help shape things the way I wanted it to go. But really helped with that culture of preparation that is really ingrained.
Yeah, first, you have to have the right people. You just got to be associated with the right people. You got to have the right people around you. So I worked really hard and is super involved on the talent side, attracting talent, retaining talent. But you got to have the very best people. So we've been super fortunate there that we've been able to attract great talent, keep our great talent, take the turnover from, if you go back 15 years ago, take it from the low 20 percentile down to less than 6.
Wow.
Now, you do that by giving them great support. Mm-hmm. You do that by making, again, you got to be committed to making their jobs easier. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. You have to understand who the clients are in these situations. And when you sit in the executive roles, my view is, especially in a business like ours, hospitality day to day, and 95+% of your team is at client locations, you've got to make their jobs easier. You've got to be committed to that, not the other way around. Mm-hmm. The team in the field, headquarters can't be the customer. The field has to be the customer. Mm-hmm. And if you're committed to making their jobs easier, and if you're, again, committed to being concise and clear and giving great direction and treating them well and training opportunities and upward advancement opportunities, they're going to stick with you. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. I mean, compensation's one thing, but you've got to treat the people well. So I think we've been really fortunate culturally to get it right. Mm-hmm. We've minimized the turnover. Every year someone's in the role that's just going to get better. Back to the sports analogy. I remember when Matt was being recruited to college and they redshirted him his freshman year, and they thought I was going to ask why. And they were like, Mr. K, he's going to be a lot better at 22, 23 than he is at 18. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. We just know that, right? And it makes sense. Right. You're just better. Physically stronger. You're going to get smarter, football and basketball, whatever your sport is. And it's no different in what we do. If you're in your territory for another year, that's another year for you to know everything that's going on in your territory. Build better relationships with your operating partners, build better relationships with your potential clients. Mm-hmm. And then it's a journey of just continually trying. You always want to look for opportunities to get a little bit better every day. Mm-hmm. You can't fall in love with your results from the prior year. It doesn't matter.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Only game that matters is this one today, right?
Yeah, looking. It's not healthy. Yeah, it's not healthy looking in the rearview mirror.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Or certainly, I share this. You can glance up at the rearview mirror just to maybe what are those takeaways that you want to use as you're continuing to drive. But if you're staring at it the whole time, you're going to run off the road. So,
yeah, exactly.
Can't get consumed by it. Absolutely. Speaking along that road, it's been one hell of a journey for you, sir. In at the Compass Group, and certainly building the team and organization. I'm curious, along your journey, what has helped you sustain this level of high performance? It could be that one tool or takeaway, that's something that you use perhaps on a daily or weekly basis that's helped ground you, that's helped you renew. But I'm just curious at what we can take from your journey and lesson learned.
I talk to my parents every day. I'm fortunate that I still have both mom and dad in my life and with me, and I talk to them every day, and I see them now that we live closer together. I see them, at least once a week, which is great. Wow. And but I throughout my career, I would always talk to them at least once a day, and they'll keep you grounded.
Yeah.
They keep you humble. Grew up in rural Pennsylvania and very humble surroundings, and had a great childhood. And my parents lived in the same house for 60 years. Wow. You know, they never sold a home before until this past January in their lives. And they're 86. So that tends to keep, right? That'll keep you grounded, keep you top of mind. And then I think certainly the environment that we've created is will keep you grounded, because you can easily fool yourself by letting the ego get in the way. You can, and I've seen that happen, and you can get tricked into some ways that you don't want to get tricked into. But that keeps me grounded. I've found I do a lot of yoga. I was diagnosed with rheumatoid arthritis, pretty severe strain, a couple of years ago, and I just found a great therapist who taught me some great breathing exercises, some great yoga moves that I can function. You know, I think that has grounded me even further. Is this journey with the autoimmune disease? I get treated at Mayo Clinic. I mean, if you want to get grounded and you want to get humbled, go walk around Mayo Clinic for part of a day, and you're going to get grounded real quick, because you realize how lucky you have it. And I say that, you know, I mean, mine's a challenge, but I'm super fortunate. I got a great support team, a great care team, and like our sales organization, we're going to get better, a little bit better every day, and that's what's happened. So you got to find what works for you. There's no one size that fits all. You got to find what's going to get you in a mindset of peace. And
it does. It looks different for each person, but I think what I hear in whether it's yoga, whether it's connecting with your parents, or even that perspective taking that you shared just from the experience of, you know, walking around Mayo, all of what those anchoring, being able to renew, those key pieces are so critical, because it's one heck of a journey, right? It's not for the weary at times. It can wear you out. But those people and those values and that perspective, it can really go a long way.
Well, you have to remember too, Amy, you know, it's not a dress rehearsal. We get one shot.
Yeah.
Make it the best. Absolutely.
Chris, thank you so much for this conversation and sharing back. I very much, one of my favorite parts of doing the pods has been being able to meet new people and to learn from them, and certainly have taken away my own learnings from this conversation. And so I'm just very grateful for you and sharing back today. Thank you.
Well, likewise, I really appreciate it, Dr. Amy, and thank you.